Welcome to Tobago's funeral home, where we celebrate life's precious moments. From the moment you enter our doors, you're met with kindness and care. Our reception area is designed to be more than just a waiting room. It is a place of calm, thoughtfully created to ease the weight of grief. In our private conference room, conversations are guided by empathy. Here, our client experience coordinators sit beside you, not just across the table to help plan a service that truly reflects your loved one's story. Whether it's a traditional farewell or a personalized celebration of life, we take time to understand your wishes and offer thoughtful guidance. At the heart of our organization is a dedicated manager who ensures that everything runs smoothly, from the smallest detail to the final farewell. We understand that choosing a casket or a coffin is a deeply personal decision. In our selection room, we provide a calm, respectful environment where families can take their time and explore options that reflect their loved one's life, beliefs, and preference. Our spacious chapel is where memories are honored and lives are celebrated. Designed with serenity and warmth, it provides a welcoming space for families and friends to come together in reflection and remembrance. For families choosing cremation, we offer on-site professional cremation services in a setting that upholds dignity, peace, and confidentiality. Our crematorium offers a seamless and respectful alternative to traditional burial, giving families flexibility while maintaining the highest standard of care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Friday, the 12th day of September 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and my name is Akin Labi Holder. Yes, and we are at the end of the work week. I hope that you all did a lot of work this week, and if not, today is the last day to make up for it. Do as much as you possibly can. Let us get out there, go out, and contribute to the development of Tobago, Adana.
I know you're trying to twist it there. We know you're looking for the countdown of the weekend. Why are you trying to act as if you're really into productivity this morning?
No, we have to be productive.
Viewers, we all know for the past couple of weeks, even when we start on Monday, Akinlabi is ready for Friday. So I don't know who he's trying to trick, telling us to be productive. But I mean, I invite you to be productive as much as you can. Once you leave home this morning to go out to your workplace, ensure you put in what is required of you today so that you can let your hair down and enjoy the weekend and have some fun with family, friends, and loved ones. Well, of course, guys, we are so happy that you are here with us this morning to go through conversations about things happening right here on the island of Tobago. But before we get into those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 12 September 2025. Tobago's October Carnival 2025 is set to be its biggest yet, with rising demand, global interest, and expanded budget for new attractions. THA Tourism Secretary Tasha Boris announced a $12 million budget for this year's October Carnival, up from $8.5 million in 2023, mainly due to the introduction of Pan Omega, Tobago's version of Panorama. The October 24 to 26 festival follows strong growth since its 2022 debut, with hotels and villas already reporting nearly full occupancy. Boris said the festival's authenticity is drawing global interest, particularly from the diaspora. Business leaders welcome the economic boost, but urge greater sponsorship to match the scale of participation. Up next, in keeping with the 2025 October Carnival, beyond its cultural fare, Tobago's October Carnival is powering business growth backed by fresh entrepreneurial funding ahead of the 2025 festival. THA Tourism Secretary Tasha Boris announced a $2 million program offering up to $30,000 in grants and $250,000 in loans to support creative and tourism businesses. Since its 2022 debut, the Carnival has generated tens of millions in visitor spending and upheld a 99% safety record. Boris urged greater private sponsorship, unity and authenticity, framing the festival as vital to Tobago's 2030 development plan goals. And finally, in some news of sports, the Trinbago Knight Riders will face the Barbados Royals tonight at Kingston Oval, seeking to rebound from back-to-back defeats and secure a top 2 CPL playoff spots. With 12 points level with leaders St. Lucia Kings, but behind on net run rate, victory would give the TKR a crucial advantage. Colin Monroe, second on the scoring chart, says the recent break has refreshed the team. Backed by veterans Kiran Pollard, Sunil Narain and Akil Hossain, TKR is aiming to regain momentum ahead of the knockout stage. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we head on to our birthday shout-outs. And we start off the celebrations this morning by saying happy birthday to Jelani Seaford, also known as Selector 3D. He is celebrating a birthday today, and I know he will be spinning out some tunes today. So we say happy birthday to you, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, amazing birthday as you head on into the birthday weekend.
Yes, and today we have a very short list of birthday shout-outs. Our final birthday celebrant is Amoniz Charles. Yes, Amoniz Charles, today is her birthday. We say happy birthday to you, Amoniz, and we wish you God's richest blessings on a special day, and that you celebrate throughout the weekend and stay safe. Most importantly, stay safe and enjoy it cleanly with your family and friends.
My
Happy
brown
birthday
skin
to you.
girl, Amoniz Charles, is celebrating today, and I had to get in there. I couldn't let us go to the break without saying my piece. So happy birthday to you, Amo. We do hope that you have an amazing birthday today. Keep smiling, keep shining, and being that amazing person that I know you to be. So happy birthday to you, Amo. And of course, if you are celebrating, whatever you are celebrating, even if we don't have your photographs, we still join in the celebration with you. Because who doesn't love a good celebration? But we remind you to put God first, because He is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. So, Akinlabi, who are we having conversations with this morning?
So this morning we're going to have conversations. You know, Fridays we like to keep it light. So this morning we're going to have a conversation with Rody the entertainer, and he's coming to talk about Rody Comes to Tobago. He's bringing his comedy show to Shaw Park this month. So we're going to have that conversation with him. And then after that, we're going to speak with Kevin Noel, Sean Hall, Avril Allen, and Lester Thomas. And they're committee members, and they're going to be talking about Tobago for Table Championship Cup. Tobago for Table Championship Cup. And finally, we're going to have one Miss Ciandine Blackman, who's going to be talking about Secondary Schools Football League. Yes, the Secondary Schools Football League is supposed to start this term. So those are the persons we're going to be having conversations with this morning, Adana.
All right, and of course we are keeping it light and breezy this Friday morning. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation if you leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. We want to hear from you. We want to see that you are with us this morning, and we also always appreciate the comments that you leave for us. You know, when you see us on our nation's roads and you say hello and you give us your commendations, we see you, we appreciate you, and we say a wonderful, wonderful Friday morning to you wherever you are viewing us from this morning, whether you are viewing from far or from wide. We say thank you so much for choosing us and for making us number one, your number one choice for morning show here on the island of Tobago. So help me to do something this morning, because we want to ensure that we continue to have that far reach globally as we do right now. So in the meantime, as we go for a break before we get into conversations, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
We are thing to celebrate. So let me
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its Open Day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
from everywhere. Welcome to the land.
The event of this century is here. AMPLIA. 100 years of excellence to honor the past and ignite the future. Saturday, September 30th at the Magdalena. The Centennial Gala, hosted by Bishop's High School Tobago. An all-inclusive evening of entertainment, culinary delights, and timeless vibes. And at midnight, raise your glass as we welcome the next 100 years. Limited early bird tickets, $750. Secure yours at islandetickets.com. An all-white affair. One night, one century, one legacy.
I'm sending a big, 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 big dirty bun for you.
Better than them.
And I have a big, 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 big dirty bun for you. So you better don't run. Come on, fun, I said don't run. Good morning, Bacchanal. How do you do? It's very critical. Talk to you, but it's a long, 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 long road. I'm going on, and I need somebody to me life. I stay strong. Bless me with you, Carnival is my time.
Take your shot with Junior K.
Always with the introductions, as you see. And of course, we're on television. Big up to my boy Saki. We just complete. I saw that. So we didn't have a choice. We had to go there.
Good.
So, Carnival.
I say, warn them. Hey, I get to know.
Baba boy, don't run. Me God, we are the last man.
Alright, you got a drink, bro?
Drinking liars.
Enjoy Take Your Shot on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Guess what? We are bringing the roadie show to Tobago Shore Park on the 20th of September. Well, get all the tickets. Love is coming to Tobago. Just wherever it is, if you're in the countryside, if you're in Tongside, just drive and come to Shore Park on the 20th, and we are going to have a time, The whole cast coming. Pinky go be there, Wetty go be there, Janet go be there. Get your tickets, remember?
I in a good spirit. I drink in a good spirits. The vibes right up to the limits. So don't hold me down, don't fight me down.
Love is Rodel Cumberbatch. He is coming to Tobago with his entire crew on October 20th. And guess what? We have conversation with him this morning. On the line for you is Rodel Cumberbatch, known as Roddy, an entertainer right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Whether you are from Tobago, Trinidad, the Caribbean, wherever you are from, he has made a name for himself. And we are going to have conversations this morning. Good morning, Mr. Cumberbatch, known as Roddy. Good morning.
Good morning, Tobago. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, a pleasure having you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and for bringing laughter to people far and wide, even as simple as social media platforms, because we know we've been in some times where things have been a little bit troubling and there are so many things happening in the world, and you have found a way to ensure that people can stay entertained and to think, you know what, as hard as life is, you could still always crack a little smile. So we're here this morning to talk about your show, Love Is, and you're coming to Tobago. But before we get into the show, tell us a little bit about who Roddy is and how Roddy came about.
Well, I mean, Roddy is a creative by heart, I love from ever since I love drawing, I love using Photoshop design and stuff. I love filmmaking, and that's been a passion of mine from since I could remember myself. I remember the first time I got my hands on a camera, I was like, this is something I could see myself doing, is creating stories and bringing them to life. So I always enjoyed doing that from a very young age. And with the progress and the social media world coming in and kind of taking over the landscape of entertainment, it was a natural progression where I just feel as though social media was the place to be back in 2015. And that's where I started to do short sketches on social media. And, after that, the characters came to life. And here we are today, 10 years later. So, yeah, that's a bit about me.
Absolutely. And in terms of creating these characters and telling these stories, what are some of the things that inspire you to bring some of what we could consider real life stories, things that actually happen in people's lives? What gives you the inspiration to bring it to life in a comical way, but yet a way that we can relate to?
Just life on the whole, we all have our personal journeys that we are on, and with the grace of God, everything don't always go to plan, but with good faith and understanding that there's something higher than what we're doing here, I believe that it creates an atmosphere where you could live. You could live and you could be happy. So I tend to take example from whether it be my sisters, my mom, strangers, employees, fellow employees, just life on the whole. Sometimes I am at home and an idea came to me, and it could be two batchak fighting. I could pull a story from it and create something. So it's just life on the whole. Just enjoying life. I always tell people who create a lot, sometimes, especially when you start off, whether you're doing music or the arts on the whole, sometimes you get caught up, and you always want to be working all the time because you don't want your brand die. You want to create consistency, but in order to create, you have to live. You have to be around family and friends and loved ones and experience life now. So I always tell creatives that you have to live. You have to create memories, and that contributes a lot to your creative side as well. So yeah, live in.
Okay, so Rody, we're talking about love is question mark. That's the name of your show.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you came about with the name and what it's really about. Because people like to talk a
Okay.
lot about love.
Yeah. Everybody talking about love now. So we celebrating 10 years. That's the first thing, right? The brand is celebrating 10 years, and um the name came about because the brand for the past 10 years has always put focus on relationships and highlighting things from a different perspective when it comes to your family life, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your co-workers, and anybody that you might interact with on a daily. I've never really leaned towards like religion and politics. I dabble in it a little bit, but the main focus has always been relationships. And one of the main ingredients for a relationship is love, you know. And people love in different ways. There's something about growing with somebody, whether it be a spouse or your kids, and seeing them grow up. There's something very special about that. So love is really speaks to relationships, and no matter where you are in the world, or your job's description, how successful you are in life, all these different things. Everybody need love. Everybody needs love, and everybody has that craving to care for someone else now, and someone else care for them as well. So that's basically what it is. But everybody has a different ideology of what love is to them. So that's why the question mark is there. Because love for you might be the same thing for me, and vice versa. So the show is just a perspective of what love is, from the character's point of view.
Okay,
And
and
well,
I
of
see.
course, I would be also given a little bit about my experiences in love.
Okay, so I see that the show was quite a success in Trinidad. What really motivated you to come to Tobago with the show?
I'm glad you asked that question. Tobago is extremely special to me. Reason being, when I first started social media, Tobago was the first place to ever hire me and give me an opportunity to not only come on stage and have my own show, but to bring the characters to life off of social media. Right? I'll never forget that phone call, and I didn't even know the person. Like, yeah, we from Tobago, we need you to come. I was like, but I don't have no set, I don't have anything. I'm now doing this thing for the first time. He's like, we don't care, we want you to come. It's like, all right. And I had to, those days, my character, Flicky, was very popular, right? And they say they want Flicky. I say, you want Flicky? I say, I don't even have, I don't even have clothes. I don't have nothing concerning, any of the characters, because I was literally just doing it from the neck up. And he was like, bro, we love you across here, and we want you to come. And it was I was stepping into something new, but Tobago embraced me. I came across here, and I got a lot of love. I'm going to definitely speak about that in the show, but that's one of the reasons why I think I can't carry the show anywhere else, without bringing it to Tobago first. You know.
And we really do appreciate the fact that sometimes when you listen to people's stories and you ask them where where they got their start from, and to connect it in such a way to Tobago. I mean, Tobago is love. Let me just put that plug there one time. Tobago is a big bundle of love.
Yep.
And so we are happy that you are coming to Tobago with all the characters. And my co-host Akilabi asked this morning about why is it called Love Is, and from what I'm hearing is that, as you rightfully said, people experience love in so many different ways. Sometimes people are not even able to articulate what love means to them or what they desire out of love. Are we going to be seeing those types of dimensions of love in the presentation?
Yeah, I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say that the show, this show is a really different show compared to the other shows that I've been a part of. Um, why? Because we actually doing stand-up comedy. We actually doing live theater on stage, and we also doing a bit of screenplay as well. So there's a bit of everything that people accustomed seeing the brand doing, but we're doing it in one big show, you know. So each character is going to be given their perspective, yes, but and each character is also going to be in their own little everybody have their own separate storylines to really tell their story about what love is to them. Right. So, you know, something that's very taboo in our culture too is going to therapy, you know. And growing up, the old school never believe in, you know, you're going and sit down and talking your problems with anybody else. But this the new generation of kids and adults, they embrace the therapy, and you know, it's something that I and all, you know, before I got married, I went to therapy plenty of times. You say, boy, nothing wrong with me, but I good, I good, I good. But when I go therapy, you're like, oh God, so oh God, I need to fix this. You know, so there's a part in the show that one of the characters actually goes to therapy, and you know, he just put it all out there, put all his problems out there. And I think therapy is a wonderful thing. So all those things are going to be talked about in the show. And I look forward to seeing my Tobagonians coming out. But we're going to have a time.
So, Rody, we know that you're well established in the entertainment industry sector right now. Tell us, in terms of hosting shows and bringing a different type of entertainment into the space of Trinidad and Tobago, how difficult was it getting in and getting that market? Because you know that in Trinidad and Tobago, the well-established types of entertainment is fets and that kind of thing. But this is a different dimension. How difficult or how easy was it for you to establish yourself and garner a market doing this type of entertainment?
I mean, nothing worth living for and pursuing is easy. So it definitely was not an easy road. Especially knowing too that there wasn't really anybody doing it before the Rody brand, you know, that actually had a structure and was collaborating with the corporate world, and there wasn't anybody in the space that was doing that as a comedian and as somebody who came from social media. So it definitely had its challenges. I would say though that having a team that understands the vision of the brand is very, very important, you know, because I focus more on the creative aspect of the brand. But you know, I also have my mom there as my manager. Thank God for that. That she brings a different skill set to the entire operation, you know, and that's important. So I always plead to creatives out there that you can't do everything, you know. Don't feel as though you may be able to do it, but if you really want to grow your brand into something beyond just, you know, everybody know you and you're famous, you definitely need to build a team of people and trustworthy people with integrity that is around you, understands your vision, and you would definitely see a big difference in terms of how your brand grow and the kind of respect your brand gets out there when you're dealing with business people, especially. So team is important.
It absolutely is important because, I mean, you are quite right to carry the burden of keeping your brand, the quality of your brand going. It really can make that demand on you. So I'm happy to know that you have that level of support with your team. And I know they're all excited to come to Tobago with you. I am quite sure. I'm sure you sold that Tobago dream, and I am here to sell it as well. Tobago is a beautiful place, and we are welcoming you all, you know, to come and to really bring your taste, your flavor of who you are in terms of roadie entertainment on the island of Tobago. And I know people kind of already hype up and ready. So let's talk a little bit about the show. When, where, how, where to find tickets, who to talk to, where we staying, all these kinds of things.
All right, so the show is on the 20th of September, right? That's next week at Shore Park Complex. And it starts at 8:30 p.m. Right? You can get tickets online at islandeticket.com. And you can also get physical tickets at Comfort Inn Suites, Jade Monkey, Barcode, Johnny Q Superstore, Shore Park. Of course, the box office opens on the 17th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And you can also get tickets at Penny Savers pharmacies. Right, so the physical tickets are there, and the online tickets are there. I think last time I checked, the early bird sold out. I'm not sure what's going on with the reserve tickets as yet. I didn't get an update as yet, but the tickets out. You can get tickets at many locations.
And the show starts at 8:30 p.m. sharp.
Correct is right. Yes.
Right, and you know, Roddy, I'm not someone who really goes out a lot, but I'm feeling the vibes. I'm feeling just from the conversation this morning. I'm feeling the vibes. And so let me put in a plug here for you, ladies and gentlemen, all of our viewers far and wide. Whether you are in Tobago, Trinidad, the Caribbean region, you're coming across to Tobago for whatever reason. Saturday evening, the 20th of September, is the place to be. Shore Park. The place to be is Shore Park. You can get your tickets for Love Is. Roadie Entertainment presents Love Is. You can get your tickets online on Island E tickets, or, you know, any of the locations, physical locations. Come on now. Let me have a little laugh. Let's talk about love.
Come on.
Let's see how people demonstrate love and how people receive love and what they require from love. Roadie, if you don't know by now, I am very excited about this. And I really, you know, I want to see Tobago people come out and really benefit from the love that you have and, you know, honoring Tobago in that way, as you spoke about the first gig that you got coming from Tobago. So we really do appreciate you, and I'm sure we will come out in our numbers to support. You know, and in closing, is there anything else you want to share with our viewers this morning?
I just want to say thank you to Tobago, you know, for giving me that motivation and the opportunity to really take my brand to different levels. Because as a creative, you know, at times you sometimes you just doubt yourself. You know, sometimes you don't know what you're doing. You don't know if this is the right thing. But within the last 10 years I've been doing this, Tobago has always, I am always in Tobago doing something. You know, whether it's partnering with businesses, whether it's visiting the schools to go to graduations. This year I've probably been to Tobago about 3 or 4 times for the last graduations. So Tobago has always shown me a lot of support. And then the 20th is a celebration all year, right? Yes, we're gonna be laughing and it's a show, but it's also a celebration that you know, we celebrating 10 years, and not only me, we celebrating 10 years because you guys are also responsible for building the roadie brand and having it the way it is. So I just want to say thank you, Tobago. Thank you, Tobago. I love all your bad, and I hope to see you guys on the 20th.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, you heard it. Roadie Entertainment, Love Is, the 20th of September. Thank you very much for coming on and speaking with us, and we wish you all the success come the 20th of
Thank you so
September.
much.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, we have to go on a short break, but when we come back, we continue our conversations. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Get ready for Love Is.
It's an reward in being the best girl. It's an a trophy in being the best wife. If I had a crime, must be in a X5. And I ain't saying no man can't come true.
So people, just let you know.
Maybe it's yours, maybe it's mine, maybe it's one of a kind.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
I send in a big, 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 big dirty plan for you. Better than them. And I have a big, 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 big dirty plan for you. So you better door on, come up on me, say door on. Good morning, Bacchanal. How do you do? Get very critical. Talk to you, but it's a long, 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 long road I'm going on. And I need some vibes in my life, but stay strong. Bless me with Juve, Carnival in my time,
The event of the century is here. AMPLIA. 100 years of excellence to honor the past and ignite the future. Saturday, September 30th at the Magdalena. The Centennial Gala, hosted by Bishop's High School, Tobago. An all-inclusive evening of entertainment, culinary delights, and timeless vibes. And at midnight, raise your glass as we welcome the next 100 years. Limited early bird tickets, $750. Secure yours at islandetickets.com. An all-white affair. One night, one century, one legacy.
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its Open Day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Coconut Sky Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and we're on the outside. Yes, we are at La Vida by Kyoto, and this morning we are speaking about something that is very exciting, relatively new to the island of Tobago. You might have heard us having this conversation sometime last year, and the hype is building, and so we're going to be talking this morning about the Tobago 4-Table Championship. What is that, you might ask? It's about all fours, and I have a group of people with me this morning who are going to go through the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
My name is AMPLIA. We are here to talk about the Tobago Championship Cup. This tournament was birthed from an idea. We had one little tournament and it was like, we could do this bigger, you know. So I called the pros, these three gentlemen. I said, look, let we put we head together and come up with a tournament that will blow the minds of Tobagonians. And this is the third year that we are doing it, bigger and better. Yeah?
Right. Third time the charm, and I know the last year's edition, we had the conversation about it, and we saw the photos, we saw the engagement of the people, and I never thought for a minute that something like All Fours would be so big in Tobago and attract such a large crowd. So I want to go through in terms of how do you, one, get people interested in something like this? I mean, I know you said it started from, you just had a small tournament. To something that is so big where you have, I think last year you had people coming from Trinidad and from other parts of the world, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Avril, when you came on the show, people were coming from the US of A as well to participate. So how were you able to, you know, allow the tournament rather, to grow to such and have such a wide reach?
Nice. Good morning. My name is Lester Thomas. The tournament started, well, Mr. Sean Hall there, he's been traveling to USA and Canada in tournaments. We have been going to Trinidad with the other tournaments, right? And it started there where we make friends and questions were asked. Tobago don't have nothing like this, right? A lot of people don't know how big the All Fours is in the world, not just on the island. It's a very big thing throughout Trinidad and Tobago, because at Trinidad and Tobago, I can't say sport because it's not under sports, right? But it's a Trinidad and Tobago thing, for want of a better word, right? And then the people from Trinidad and Tobago who leave and went to the US, went to Canada and live, they also carry the All Fours there, and it's a very big thing. So the next weekend, right, that is from the 20th and 21st, you're going to see a lot of things on the island, a lot of people coming here, and not just the players, because people come to their family, so it's like a vacation for them. That's why we have a term, we call it the vacation tournament, because people leave Trinidad. We have teams from abroad, 4 teams, I guess, coming from the US and Canada, and a lot coming from Trinidad. And then our small island here, we have about 10 teams, right? participating for the price of $100,000. It's something that is worthy to come and look at. You're going to enjoy yourself if you're not accustomed to it. You're going to make you get goosebumps.
But you're talking about look at I want to win the 100,000. I want to know how to get involved.
Okay, good.
I want to know how to get involved. So
Okay.
let me get on to the brass
Okay,
tacks.
good. Now, the tournament, we have a registration towards the tournament, which is $5,000, right? You form your team. It's $5,000 for 14 players. Form your team. You get on. Where we have the flyer out there, the numbers. You get on to either one of us, and come and prove yourself. Come to the food hub in Shore Park and get on to us. Register your team and just beat people all the way through and sure.
Sure to win that.
Sure for 100,000.
All right. You know, Mr. Sean Hall, I want to talk to you now because you mentioned that you are the one you would travel and you would see other groups. And you know, I don't know if I can liken all fours onto poker, because poker is a big thing in the Western world, right? And you have tournaments, people coming from far and wide. Do you see the all fours expanding and having such wide reach similar to poker?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, I do. But for that to happen as well, we need to get proper backings from the government and so for the sport to reach where it could reach. It has plenty potential and it is worth trying.
What are some of the advantages you see in terms of having tournaments like this? And I know you mentioned earlier the tourism aspect of it, where you have people coming for vacation, and so you're seeing vendors, of course, making a little change, and you're seeing, you know, so tell me some of the other benefits that we can derive from hosting an event like this in Tobago, and in fact, pioneering an event like this on the island of Tobago.
Well, most of the teams from abroad, especially coming in from like Wednesday and Thursday, and they come in for 5-6 days. So that is hotel accommodation, guest houses, car rentals. Some of them require 5-6 cars for rentals and so on. Then they have to get food while they're here as well. Understand? So it's plenty tourism, plenty. The economy for Tobago going to have a good weekend next weekend. Sure about that. Sure.
And that's what we're looking forward to as well. Okay, so let's talk about how many teams you have registered. I know somebody mentioned, I can't remember if it was you, that we have 10 teams from Tobago registered. From Tobago, and that's just Tobago. And I suppose that's why the tournament has to be 2 days, right? I am not sure how long a game lasts. I don't know what's the time, the duration. But how many teams do we have so far registered? And what are you going to put a limit, a cap? Are you going to cut off? How is it going to be structured?
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin Noel. Well, basically, the tournament started the first year with 30 teams. The second year, we get 37. This year, right on, as we speak, we have about 52 teams on paper.
Woo! Things
is heating up real good. Right? The tournament is structured 14 bullseye per game. Right? The game might take 3 hours. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. $100,000. Right?
So what time, like when you say, how many bullseye you said? 14. 14 bullseye, right?
Well,
I don't know what that means earlier. Like, I don't know the terms for all fours, but it sounded as if it will take some time. All fours, I know, at least the village all fours that I'm used to. Real action.
Real action, real pick-up.
Slamming,
real card slamming.
You know? So, 3 hours of that non-stop is something that would be so engaging.
Exciting.
You know?
Per game.
This is per game.
On the first day, which is Saturday, we have a round robin, which is 3 games per team. Yes. That might end up to 12, 1 o'clock the next day.
And people stay throughout the
entire day.
But they have to see how the team goes in. Wow.
And besides that, we do also have entertainment. We have vendors. We have carnival costumes on display. We have a lot of exciting things we in store this year. So come out, everyone, and have a fun.
All right. So I want to talk, Avril, if you could, take over here in terms of collaborations. You might have sponsors. You spoke about bringing on costumes on board. So who are some of your partners who will be featured at the events as well? Your entertainment, your whoever you're featuring, who would be there as well?
The entertainment is a surprise.
Oh, yeah,
I can't let that out of the bag just yet.
The cat in the bag.
Yeah,
I
can't let out that entertainment just yet, but you would be blown away. If the ladies only know who come in,
that's a hint there.
That is all I have to say. I know last year we had the mass bands on board, and we have them again on board this year. We have Creamery on board this year with us. As for sponsorship, it's kind of ticklish. Sponsorship is a hard thing to get in the Tobago space. But right now, I want to say kudos to Miss Natisha Charles Pantin. She is one of our main sponsors this year, and I just want to thank her publicly for coming into this All Falls with us. But I think we have it covered. All Falls is something that basically pays for itself. But you know, there are things that you need outside of the All Falls because there is the infrastructure and all those stuff. It's a bit ticklish, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
And you know, I kind of like, I think it was Sean who said, you know, you need the support, not just from the government. You mentioned the government, but corporate Tobago and people actually seeing this. I would call it a sport. You were wondering, should we call it a sport? I would call it a sport. Do we see the value in investing in something like this? Because if you look at other similar tournaments worldwide, and you're already seeing the reach that you guys have in terms of 52 teams already registered. And if you could do something like this one, could you imagine doing this for an entire week on the island of Tobago? Right? Think of how many people will be coming, the people coming from different parts of the world, not just the US. You know, we have people, Trinidad and Tobago people all over the place, you know. So could you imagine we kind of plant the seeds all over and blow up the whole place for a week of just tournaments on the island of Tobago? I think you're all onto something really, really good. And Tobago, let me see what happened in the weekend now, you know, the weekend of the 20th and the 21st at the Food Hub. So tell us, starting time. Well, we don't have an end of time because we're saying now we're going until the game done, you know. So tell us the starting time and, you know, the culmination on the 21st.
Well, Saturday morning, we're starting at 10:30 a.m. You know, we start with the national anthems, Trinidad and Tobago, America, Canada, and then we start the All Falls. Right? We will go till about midnight on Saturday. 3 games Sunday morning when the teams come back. We have an elimination and knockout on Sunday. So that 32 teams going forward to the big money. And the rest of the teams, well, they may play for a best of the rest prize depending on how things go right now. Right? So, and from there, it's 32, 16, 8, 4, and then 2. That might go to about 3, 4 in the morning. When we crown the grand winner. The Monday, however, now is a kind of cool long, and we want to have a Trinidad and Tobago versus North America game. A friendly rivalry between the team, because you know the foreigners always saying they're going to beat us, right? So we want to have a little competition on the Monday to see who is the better country.
Right. Well, of course, you know, I mean, I know, you know, we're going to keep the thing right here. It's ours, you know, I mean, already, you know. But, you know, I really applaud the fact that you could come up with an idea, something that you do naturally and normally. You don't have to practice or rehearse and turn it into something this big. So kudos to the 4 of you guys and the rest of your team members who holding things down and ensuring that things get done. That's off to you all. I am looking forward to pictures, videos. I will try to pass by. In fact, I'm passing by, right? I'm passing by because I want to see for myself. Based on the photos I saw last year and the videos I saw, I know it was a hype. So I want to see for myself. So tell us again when, where, time, and for the public, is there a cost attached to entering?
Right. Again, it's like the Food Hub. That is in Shaw Park. The cost is 5,000 per team, right? You just can't walk off the street and come and play All Falls because you take a team to play. So you leaving home and say, no, I'm going to Shaw Park, I want 100,000 by yourself. It's impossible.
Okay, all right. Crash my dreams, all right.
So you talk to your neighbors and your friends and walk with them.
Right.
And then you'll be able to do such a thing, right? We are going to 17 bullseye per game and 3 games on, as you say, 3 games on Saturday, and then come Sunday or Monday morning, somebody's going to be jumping for joy of the $100,000 on the 21st or 22nd, as you say.
And if I want to, you know, just to come to support or to, you know, just to see how the games are going, is there an entrance for me to pay to come in or is it free?
A cent. The only thing you're paying is attention to the game.
I like that.
Right, so you just come with your family, your friends. There's a lot of food there on sale.
So we're encouraging persons
you could get something to drink. You will see somebody you know because you have a lot of people from Tobago that you wouldn't even believe playing All Falls. And you will say, you know what? I know this young lady or this young man. I supporting this team. And you will hear people chanting and carrying on, trust me, you're going to...
You see, I tell you, it's a sport. It's the kind of energy you get from a sport anyway, so it is a sport. And, in closing, I want to give the lady the opportunity to, talk to our viewers this morning and tell them why they should come out and the importance of this and how much fun they are going to have at this event.
September 20th and 21st at the Shore Park Food Hub, the Tobago 4-Table Championship Cup is the place to be. Turn down your pots, don't cook. Big, plenty nice food will be there that day. So come out, you won't miss this. It's something to be at. Yeah?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking with Kevin Noel, Sean Hall, Avril Allen, and Lester Thomas. We're talking about the Tobago 4-Table Championship Cup, all fours. $100,000 up for grabs. Rally your team together. Find out 5,000, 5,000, 500,000. Do the math. The possibilities are endless. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations. But in the meantime, you all help me to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Como si fuera la última y enséñame ese pasito que no un besito bien besito bebé DJ. We are thing to celebrate. So let me
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its open day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
That's essentially the main catalyst which drove Frenzy Mass. I mean, all of us would have done a lot of things together, and this was just the next step now, evolution. We lime, we party, so why don't we take all of that and bring it into Tobago, into a form of mass, where we could go and gallivant and do the same thing where other people could see what we do it on a bigger stage.
But at this point in time, I think Frenzy is important to me, so I decided to put some energies there. It's our first year Tobago Carnival, we now partner with Iconic Mass, and it's our first time, so I felt like, just see, come and really stamp your name and make that presence from the mass side of things. So guys, if I Frenzy Mass, really excited for Tobago this year.
Love to see the girl bend over. Arch your back, me girl. Arch your back, arch your back. Start to arch it. Slack me girl. Arch your back, arch your back.
We can say 1, 2, tie up the shoe. 3, 4, bend back more. 5, 6, no time for tricks. Wine like you're feeling twisted, so I want you bend. Bend like you feel to cream your leg. Hold on by your ankle them. Not just you, can you want your freak, you want your bread.
Right, me girl, and one in Frenzy Mass. Watching out there. That is what I was seeing. Rocking it slow. That is what I was seeing.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen, viewers far and wide. Yes, I don't know if you know this, but over the past week, on Wednesday, as a matter of fact, the Tobago Carnival was unveiled. Yes, Tobago Carnival 2025 was unveiled to the public. And we have a little something there coming from that event. We have a message from the CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, Mr. Kern Cowan, on the offerings for Tobago Carnival 2025.
That's why I'm going with this fool now. Tell them I'm not as young as I used to be. It's not alright, everything's up now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I begin by recognizing my Secretary, Councillor Tashia Burris, Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, other secretaries, assistant secretaries, and members of the Tobago House Assembly. Administrators of the Tobago House Assembly. My Deputy Chair of the Board of Directors of the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, Mr. Gilbert O'Connor, and all other board members. CEO of the Tobago Tourism Agency, Ms. Sandra Ortoni, CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, Mr. Gerard Primer, President of the Tobago Hotel Association and members of the association, corporate partners, sponsors, special invited guests, special interest groups, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good evening and welcome to the Tobago Carnival 2025 Unveil. The theme, mud, mass, and music. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to stand before you this evening as we officially begin the journey to what promises to be an unforgettable carnival. Tobago Carnival is more than an event. It's a developing gem, one with the power to position Tobago as the greatest little island on the planet. A must-visit destination on the global stage. Each one of us has an important part to play in this journey of growth. From our special interest groups, to the media, to our dedicated staff, and to every participant. You are all vital to the success of this festival. Together we are not only shaping an unforgettable experience, but we are also contributing to the continuous development of our island and of course our nation. This evening we invite you into an immersive experience, a taste of Tobago Carnival. We depict each element, the mud, the mass, and the music. This year, we have included more new experiences in the Tobago Carnival product, which we cannot wait to share. If you look behind you, you will notice an interactive art zone, which invites you to partake, and we invite you to partake as well. If you haven't already, that is. The art zone features the face of the Tobago Carnival, an abstract work displaying a kaleidoscope with portrayals of vibrance, energy, and festivity. This zone will be recreated across the Tobago Carnival season and be a feature at every element of the festival, allowing patrons also to be inclusive and a part of the celebration and creating their own keepsakes representing our products. I'm also very proud to introduce one of our newest features to our growing festival, AR, augmented reality. As the world continues to move into a digital realm, we have also learned and adapted and evolved with it, increasing our value and our relevance. All around, you will notice these QR codes strategically placed. I invite you to scan and experience the virtual layers that will soon become an integrated part of the Tobago Carnival journey. A special thanks goes out to Heavenly Science for bringing this vision to life and turning imagery and imagination into virtual reality. A warm welcome, though, to our past and our present sponsors and partners. We are so thankful for your continued support. Your unwavering commitment is not only invaluable to the Commission and the Tobago Carnival, but also to all our stakeholders involved, helping to ensure continued growth and the success of the festival. We also extend a warm welcome to all our dignitaries, special interest groups, staff, members of the media, and all specially invited guests. Thank you for joining us this evening. Remember, each of you play an essential role in ensuring every part of the festival works seamless and together. We celebrate making this a remarkable and memorable experience. From all of us at the Commission, the Tobago Carnival is not just an event, but a unique offering that needs to be nurtured, cherished, and developed. We are committed to working with all our stakeholders with the aim of creating a lasting experience where all can come for the culture, stay for the experience, and return for the memories. We know you are all sharing the vision and will support the festival's evolution. Now I ask you, and I invite you to envelop yourself in the experience curated here tonight. Please enjoy, be a part. And of course, before you leave, make sure you get your parting gift that we have made accommodations for everyone to experience. Here's to exciting, successful, incident-free, prosperous, and fulfilling Tobago Carnival season. Thank you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
I go cross any ocean to find it. Won't let no mountain get in the way. Hey. We come cross the water, been through the fire. I know that my heart could show me the way. Everywhere you turn, you see people smiling. We don't see no creed and race. I don't want nobody tell we about leaving. We fight for we thing and this is we place.
I just love Carnival and I want to come back. I just want to keep dancing.
Take me home. Take me home. Take me to a place where my heart don't feel no pain. Take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Shut it down and Tobago.
Carnival is a synergy of culture, is a synergy of love and vibrant energy. You can see how similar all the islands are. Many times tonight on stage, tears came to my eye. It warms my heart that every aspect of our culture was covered tonight. That is a beautiful thing. Imagine the steel pan in the back, the tassa here, the African drums here, a chutney singer here, a calypso in here, a soca artist here. You cannot top that, and it shows that we are rich in culture, we are rich in spirit, and we are rich in vibes, and I love my country.
When that feeling starts, it goes nowhere. Do you know what time? Now when you move your hips so, make it
A lot of people came here to hear different cultures, the song. So I think received it very well. I enjoyed myself. I had a time. You understand? Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm from Barbados and I love Reparations just like
I hope everybody come to Barbados next time and have a fantastic time.
I'm telling you that Barbados is a nice place. We enjoy ourselves. The festival bouncing, everybody happy. This is the place to be. Come here, party, enjoy yourself, son. We just happy, man. Blessed all the time.
You show that our culture deserve a stage, and you built it, Barbados, and we performed on it. Trinidad and Tobago, let me hear you.
Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, Carnival 15, make some noise. Carnival 15 has been a resounding success. We thank you so much. We had such a great time, and I think it's time for us to get back to the party.
What you deserve? Everybody get up and down. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody, hey. Let's go. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah, man. Left, right, left, right. All the way.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Tobago Updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and.
Good morning and welcome to GMT Good Morning Tobago. I am your host this morning, Natalie Seeley Richardson, and it's always a pleasure to start my Friday morning with you. And we're heading straight into our news in 90 seconds. Tobago's October Carnival 2025 is set to be its biggest yet, with rising demand, global interest, and an expanded budget for new attractions. THA Tourism Secretary Tashia Boris announced a $12 million budget for this year's carnival from $8.5 million in 2023, mainly due to the introduction of Pan Omega, Tobago's version of Panorama. The October 24th through the 26th festival allows a strong growth since its 2022 debut, with hotels and villas already reporting near full occupancy. Boris said the festival's authenticity is drawing global interest, particularly from the diaspora. Business leaders welcomed the economic boost but urged greater sponsorship to match the scale of participation. In keeping with the October 2025 Carnival, beyond its cultural flair, Tobago's October Carnival is powering business growth backed by fresh entrepreneurial funding ahead of the 2025 festival. THA Tourism Secretary Tashia Boris announced a $2 million program offering up to $30,000 in grants and $250,000 in loans to support creative and tourism businesses. Since its 2022 debut, it is reported the carnival has generated tens of millions in visitor spend and upheld a 99% safety record. Boris urged greater private sponsorship, unity, and authenticity, framing the festival as vital to Tobago's 2030 development goals. The Trinbago Knight Riders will face the Barbados Royals tonight at Kensington Oval, seeking to rebound from back-to-back defeats and secure a top 2 CPL playoff spot. With 12 points, level with leader St. Lucia Kings but behind on net run rate, victory would give TKR a crucial advantage. Colin Munro, second on the scoring charts, says the recent break has refreshed the team. Backed by veterans Kieran Pollard, Sunil Narain, and Akil Hossain, TKR is aiming to regain momentum ahead of the knockout stage. And that was your news in 90 seconds. This morning, we go to our guest. He is joining us virtually, and he's on the line, I understand, Mr. Adrian Odell. He's an attorney at law and the National Coordinator of the Reparations Committee for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's also the president of the Anti-Fascist International SVG chapter, and that's part of President Maduro's International Anti-Fascist Group. And I know those of you who are keeping abreast of international events and what's going on, you may be familiar with that international organization, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a local chapter there, and they are part of that international group. So let me welcome Mr. Adrian Odell this morning to Tobago Updates, and thank you for joining us. All right, I think we're having some technical difficulties with connecting. He was just on with us a few seconds ago. But let's continue. It is Friday morning, and I know many of you may be at work or on your way still. You're planning what's going on for the weekend. I always remind us, let's be safe. And there are so many activities always happening around us. Some may be fortunate to actually relax for the weekend. All right, so I think he's on the line now. Welcome, Mr. Odell.
Hi, good day. Hope you guys can hear me clearly.
Yes, I'm hearing you fine, and I just introduced you to our viewers. And of course, this morning we are speaking about mass Venezuelan deportation from Trinidad and Tobago. And for our viewers to understand just a little more about this, we are quite aware, of course, here in Trinidad and Tobago, that we have a lot of Venezuelan migrants, be they illegal or illegal. And our current Prime Minister would have campaigned just before winning the elections on this matter. And we know that in the press, we see records of her talking about mass deportation. But quite recently, actually, there's another news article published in one of our local newspapers where she sort of pulled back on that statement when she was asked about it. And she announced or shared that that policy is still being worked on. And once it is finalized, the details will be shared with the public. So I'm bringing you in on this topic. And, you know, before we get into that specific mass deportation concern, let's look at it from a CARICOM standpoint. How does something like this, mass deportation, affect us as a CARICOM state?
Well, the first thing that we should address is that we're in a very I would say, peculiar time. When we look at what is happening in the U.S., we can see that their policies now are aiming towards deportation. And when we see those policies reaching into the crux of the Caribbean region, and we see that we're taking stances that are similar to those types of regimes, we have to be very concerned. And with that type of mass deportation that we see in Trinidad, we are entering an era that we can possibly deem as pro-US. And that is something we must be very, very careful of. For those of us in the region, we are acutely aware that the US has always attempted to regulate some other countries around the world. And if they could, they would regulate all of the countries of the world. And once we see these types of changes starting, especially in the south of our region, when we're supposed to have good diplomatic relations with countries like Venezuela, and these are the countries who will and who have supported us throughout time, and we see these types of policies emerging, we have to be very concerned. Now, when we examine our history of Venezuelan relationships with the US in terms of intervention, it goes all the way back to 1895. But I know we're not speaking about that at this particular moment. I will get back to what you asked me.
Yes.
I don't think that these types of policies should be what emerges within our region, because you don't want a domino effect. We do not want a domino effect concerning policy on deportation, because you don't want to become a pro-US region. We know that what the US has in store for us is nothing good. And once we start following them, especially in terms of policy, we're going down the wrong path.
But why are you pinning this deportation to pro-US? For example, if you are illegal in any country, is it not expected that at some point you may be deported?
Of course. And each country will have their own immigration or migrant policies. Now, when we examine Trinidad especially, we know that there are a lot of, as you might say, illegal immigrants. Now, why is it that these policies are targeting specifically our Venezuelan brothers and sisters? That is a question that we have to ask ourselves. Of course, there are persons from other countries who are in Trinidad and Tobago illegally. But why is there specifically a mass deportation of our brothers and sisters from Venezuela? If you understand where...
Right, and I understand, and I mean, we're having this discussion, and I think it's very important, for us to share our thoughts and for our viewers even to, be a part of this discussion. But and I like the question, even where your thought process is going. It seems as though that the Venezuelans are being targeted. But in 2019, when they were asked to register, because the former PNM government did this large registration exercise, and over 16,000 Venezuelans registered. And one can safely assume, although I'm always told that's not a good thing, you never assume, one can safely assume that that may not have been all of them. And those, are the ones who came forward. So is it that because they seem quite prominent, so the law policies would be centered around them? Just like in any other country, if you have a large group who may seem to be a threat or be heavy on whatever national resources are, that you're no longer under the radar. And I'm sure Venezuelans were here before. But because there are so many of them, you see them in the public, people are quite aware of who they may be, and so then it becomes a concern. So yes, there are other nationalities here who are illegal, but this particular group, and I don't want to say they're being targeted, but they seem quite prominent in the eye of the public. So can that be a reason why policies are now being shaped? Because this is the group that seems to be, for want of a better word, a threat to the resources that Trinidad and Tobago has.
Okay, so you mentioned three important points. So one, concerning the prominence of our Venezuelan brothers and sisters within Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, as you mentioned, in 2019, we had a large registration. I think the number that you quoted was about 16,000. And of course, that is not all of our brothers and sisters, because there are many factors that should be taken into consideration. And the outreach concerning these types of programs, it will not get to everyone. So that's one thing. You also mentioned the issue of there being a threat or maybe the use of the resources in Trinidad and Tobago by our Venezuelan brothers and sisters. And that is something that we have to raise, and we have to bring forward facts concerning those issues. So if you mention threats, are there statistics that can prove in relation to nationals or maybe persons of other nationalities? What threat do our Venezuelan comrades pose by being in Trinidad and Tobago? What threat or use of their nation's resources can be statistically proven and shown to impact Trinidad and Tobago in such a way that there are policies that are specifically shaped for them in concerning migration?
Right.
That is a question we must ask ourselves. And I'm not sure if you may have more information on that so that we can have a further discussion on air.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't have the data as well. And I think that's quite a critical point you raised, because a lot of people on many topics in Trinidad and Tobago and by the world extension will always have an opinion, and they may make a very broad statement based on a micro experience. So it's something we do have to be very responsible about, but being on the ground, seeing Venezuelans. And another thing people are guilty of, when we see someone, we make the assumption they are here illegally, but they don't have to be here illegally as well. So I think we have to be just even cautious as a people not to make us those types of assumptions, because you have the reverse. When we travel, people can also pick us out, in a foreign land and wonder if we are a quote unquote, threat to them as well.
Yes, that is correct. And I'm urging the public and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to not stereotype. Don't stereotype our Venezuelan comrades. You might see them within your streets and your towns and your villages. Some of them may not have the best English, but that does not mean that they're there illegally. So we cannot stereotype our comrades, because we also, when we travel, we do not want to be victims of that type of behavior. And we know to ourselves, especially our black brothers and sisters, that to be stereotyped is not a good feeling. And those are things that we should not exacerbate within our society.
Right. Ever so often in the media, you would hear stories coming out of the detention center. You would have persons who may have been, and more so again, Venezuelans who would speak out, and talk about their experience at the detention center. One time I remember there was a vessel leaving Chagaramas, and I think, I'm not sure which group would have stepped in, and lawyers got involved to stop that vessel from leaving. But I can't remember the details surrounding that story, but I do remember, it coming out as being Venezuelans being deported, and I don't know if they were separated from children, etc. When we look again what our Prime Minister would have campaigned on, and then her public statement that sort of pulled that perspective back somewhat. Are you aware, because I haven't seen anything recently, and it's possible I missed it, in terms of mass deportation? We know deportation will take place. Again, I think if you're here illegally or anywhere in the world, that's one of the policies most immigration and custom divisions have in place, right? And where, because I know you work in Venezuela in terms of through your organization, you're part of that international organization. I also understand you spend some time as an election observer as well in Venezuela, and being so close to what's happening there, understanding what's happening there, and looking at us in CARICOM. Do you think that mass deportation is in fact happening in Trinidad and Tobago? Are you aware that it is happening?
Well, what I'm aware of would be what is permeated throughout your news articles.
Right.
And I think that is how I was aware of the issue. It wasn't brought to my attention otherwise, maybe because of the lack of connection between some of my organizations and Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. And we see also because of what the President Trump has stopped funding to certain international organizations where immigrants is concerned. I see one of our UN agencies that deals with immigrations. I think their office is closing this month, I believe, if it hasn't closed already, because their funding was cut. If this happens across the board in CARICOM, how does that impact us? How does it impact, the migrants that are coming into our islands?
Well, it depends on the target. So once funding is cut, depending on the organization, it would affect those who use it the most. Right. So it's a very broad question to answer, and that is something that we'll have to try to predict. We'll have to look at exactly at where funding is being cut, so that we can have a clear-cut answer for our citizens and the various persons who would immigrate to our islands here in CARICOM.
Mm-hmm. How important are organizations like this, where funding is being cut and you see the possibility of programs being halted? How important are these UN agencies or even local NGOs who support immigrants coming into our country to streamline, whatever facilities they can for these? For example, again, we're talking about the Venezuelans coming in, and you have so many organizations who may try to help them transition. So if you remove those organizations, what's some of the fallouts then for that society?
Okay, so the very first thing that we need to understand is that the world is becoming what I would refer to as a global village, My Prime Minister also refers to the world as a global village. That simply means that we are becoming more integrated. So we're aiming or we're hoping to have all of these borders removed from our islands, our countries, and we're hoping to improve immigration. And no one person should be cut off from a part of the world because of a particular stereotype. Now, once we cut funding to these organizations, we are going to see the removal of what I would simply call it hope. A lot of persons move in the hope of a better life. A lot of persons move for various other reasons. And these organizations assist those persons by giving them hope that they can be within a particular country legally, and they would be able to enjoy the rights of any ordinary citizen of that particular country. So we'll see the removal of hope on a global scale. We'll also see the removal, of course, of assistance to these persons who hope to move into these countries. And we cannot grow on this global scale where it is we fail. We simply refuse to assist persons who want to travel. And we also have to remove the stereotype that persons who are moving have the aim of doing quote unquote bad things, to put it as simple as possible for the listeners. And we really have to do better. And I think it stems from a theoretical standpoint where historically we may see skewed statistics against persons of certain nationalities.
Right. And is there a presence of Venezuelan migrants, be it legal or legal, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from Venezuela?
Well, in St. Vincent, we do not have a very large population of Venezuelans. Most of the Venezuelans that are here are with our diplomatic corps, or they may be assisting with our infrastructural development where it concerns our hotel chains or any other sort of infrastructural development.
And as we look to wrap up this topic, because if my producer tells me I have some time, I also want to just tease your brain a bit and talk about reparations. But before we get to that, as we all wait on our Prime Minister's announcement in terms of what this policy will look like, what do you hope are some of the areas you hope to see covered in a policy coming forward?
Well, based on the structure of Trinidad and Tobago society, I do believe that policy concerning, if it's in particular aimed towards our Venezuelan comrades, I do hope that it's a fair policy that would take into consideration at least their entry, because most migration policies would consider how it is that they would have entered into the country. You'd also look at the reasoning and a low burden of proof when it comes to the evidence as to why you would have entered into Trinidad and Tobago. When we look at other countries and we look at some of their policies, especially when it comes to things like asylum, there is a very strong burden of proof, as we call it in the law, to prove this is the reason why you're seeking asylum. Now, within the policy of Trinidad and Tobago, I do hope that the burden of proof is not as strict. And it being not as strict allows the necessary evidence to be provided without that extra bit of scrutiny. And while it is, we can always have policies that may appear to be useful. Those who enforce the policy might have a wide range of powers in order to prevent persons from actually achieving what the actual aim of the policy is. Now, that might seem a bit complicated, But to put it as simple as possible, I would like the policies to give our Venezuelan comrades a chance at not having to be deported, to be in Trinidad and Tobago and to be in peace amongst the citizens, and for them at least to enjoy some of the rights and privileges of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
And of course, I know our viewers are listening attentively as you share, and they too have their opinions on this topic. And if they are so inclined, they can feel free to share it on the chat. And Mr. Odell, we go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll switch topic a bit as I keep you a bit longer with us this morning. So viewers, don't go too far. We'll return in just a few seconds.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its Open Day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying with us. And just in case you just joined us, I am speaking to Mr. Adrian Odell, who is an attorney at law and the National Coordinator of the Reparations Committee for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we are going to switch gears a bit and talk about reparations. I know many of you hear that word a lot. We think of slavery when we hear it. And as I have Mr. Odell here, I can't just let him go. After all, he is the National Coordinator and deals a lot with that. So when we talk about reparations, exactly what are we speaking about in this context?
So when we hear the term reparations, most persons...
I'm not hearing you at the moment, so let me just see if it is on your end or my end. All right, I think you're coming through now.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So generally, when we speak about reparations, persons tend to think about money, and it's not simply about money. Reparations means you're being repaired in terms of the damage that has been caused to you as a consequence of either slavery or genocide. And it's important that I mention genocide because genocide would also encompass what our former colonial masters would have done in terms of the indigenous people of our Caribbean region. So, for example, we know of certain terms like Caribs. We know of terms like the Arawaks, which some persons may agree to disagree on the usage of those terms. But a lot of our historic indigenous people have been absolutely massacred on these islands. And of course, when it comes to the issue of slavery and the former enslaved, we have to be able to examine the damage that was done, not only in the sense of death and, well, not death, they're straight murders that were committed against our people. We have to examine the damage that was done to our nation, whether it's here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines or Barbados. Slavery would have set back our region by hundreds of years through the draining of resources and, of course, through our psychological impairment that has been caused by our former colonial masters that has been passed down throughout our generations. And we are seeking to repair that type of damage.
Mm-hmm. And I like how you framed it within the word, because it is connected, and as you rightfully said, when you hear these conversations, you usually hear about compensation and not just looking at it, from the aspect of repairing any damage, be it monetary or otherwise. But how do you really quantify this damage that was done? Because you hear nations asking or telling our former colonial masters, this is what you owe us. How do you, or can you really quantify this?
Yes, and it actually has been quantified. There are a number of documents that would have calculated the financial strain or what is owed to us financially. And for example, there are reports. Let me just keep it simple. In the law, we know that we can place value on things. And we can also place value when it comes to compensation, where someone loses a life. I hope my listeners are able to follow me. So when you lose a life, or when someone causes you or to lose a life of someone who's close to you or a relative, perhaps, then of course you know that the estate can claim compensation. Now, when it comes to slavery, our ancestors were brutally murdered. Millions and millions of our African ancestors were murdered. Now, we can take the quantification and use it as a pro-life sort of calculation. So let's say, for example, we have a life valued at maybe, say, $500,000. Let's say 500,000 US. You take that and you can multiply it and see the costs of all of our ancestors who were killed. Some persons use the method, and then we can backtrack to our economic development. Now, we can look at the drainage of our resources from the planting of cane and other exports, and how that would have damaged the soil in our countries. And we can look at that, and we can also look at the underdevelopment of our economies as a consequence of this sort of plantation economics that would have existed at the time. And we can see where we would have been if it were not these types of plantation economics within our region. So there are a number of ways to calculate.
Right. And this topic is so interesting, and it's so unfortunate that many of us, even when we hear it, whether it's BBC or local media, we kind of gloss over it. I think we don't understand sometimes our worth and what was done to us. And it's important for us to have these conversations, especially with our upcoming generations, for us to understand, what was done to us and what is due to us. So I want to thank you so much for you sharing on these two topics with us this morning. Thank you for spending time with us here in Tobago. And maybe, I don't know, have you ever visited Tobago?
I used to live in Scarborough.
Oh, very awesome. All right. So, very well. Right. So, good. So, we adopt everybody in Tobago. So, you're one of us, right? So, that's really exciting. So, you're familiar with how we do things here and how we as a people. So, we just want to wish you all the best as you continue to represent not just St. Vincent, but, CARICOM and the region as a whole on matters like this and sharing your voice and advocacy in matters like this as well. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you for having me, and I hope that you welcome me again.
Yes, of course. All right, viewers, so we go for a quick break. When we return, our next guest, who is no stranger to media, no stranger to here, will join us. And if you're wondering who he or she is, of course, you have to come back on the other side of the break.
We are things to celebrate. So let me see.
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its open day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
The event of this century is here. AMPLIA. 100 years of excellence to honor the past and ignite the future. Saturday, September 30th at the Magdalena. The Centennial Gala, hosted by Bishop's High School, Tobago. An all-inclusive evening of entertainment, culinary delights, and timeless vibes. And at midnight, raise your glass as we welcome the next 100 years. Limited early bird tickets, $750. Secure yours at islandetickets.com. An all-white affair. One night, one century, one legacy.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. And of course, the lovely Avian Parks joins me this morning, and she is Communications Director out of the Office of the Chief Sec. Good morning, Avian, and welcome.
Good morning, Natalie. Thank you. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be on Tobago Updates, and good morning to all your viewers, nationally, regionally, and internationally.
Oh yes, definitely. We are all out there. And this morning we want to talk about the Tobago Day Awards. Now this is a stellar event on the island, and if I can say so, in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want us to spend a little time, because people often look forward to that evening to see who is being presented. Sometimes in our little corners, you hear, wonder how he get that award or how she get that award. So I know nominations are open. So I want you to take us through the nomination process. Is there an application process? How it works that builds up to that night, and if there's a close-off time.
Thank you so much, Natalie. So, yes, there is a nominations process, and nominations are open. They opened on September 1st. And I'll say very early up, the deadline is September 30th.
All right.
And, we like to be a little last minute sometimes, but you still have a little time. But I'm just encouraging persons to select their individuals or groups, because it's both individuals and groups who can be nominated, and send in those nomination forms. Now, it's a completely, strictly online process. So there is a QR code that you can access the nominations form from, or you can visit the THA website website at www.tha.gov.tt. So the nominations process, I mean, it runs similar to the national awards. So there is an awards committee or a nominations committee that really sits on all the submissions and they determine.
Right.
What we ask persons to do is nominate an individual or group showing why you think they are deserving of the award. So
Right.
you nominate based on a sphere.
Okay.
So it might be that they've had major achievements in academia, in sport, in culture,
Right.
for gallantry even. So you don't actually nominate a category.
Okay.
So even though the graphics or the flyers have the categories to inform persons what persons will be awarded as,
Right.
you don't nominate a category. So you don't indicate on the form that you want them nominated for the gold or silver or bronze.
Right.
You just indicate their sphere of activity and why you believe that they should be awarded. The awards committee will determine the actual award, and then the final decision is made by the Executive Council of the Tobago House of Assembly.
And when that process is completed and we get to that point where that actual selection is done, is that awardee now required to send in any documentation? So for example, and I'm going to use me as an example because I'm not there, right? And you use me, let's say, in the stream of education. And based on what was presented by those who nominated me, I get the pick. Am I then contacted and say, hey, you need to back this up, what we were told?
So Natalie, I'm really happy you asked that question. So once you are nominating an individual or group, you need to contact them and ask them if it's okay.
Right.
So they are aware that they are being nominated, and you also need to get their CV.
Okay.
So then by the time you send in the nomination form, it is sent in with a CV, so that information is there.
Good.
Now, once the selection process is finished, persons are still contacted to ask whether you're willing to accept the award, but by that time it won't be a surprise. Right? The person nominating them would have already contacted them and say, listen, I'm nominating you. Are you comfortable? Because not everybody wants to be celebrated.
Yes. And just being in that limelight. Some people, they know
they just like to do their thing.
Yes.
And so not everybody agrees.
And I think that's quite respectful because you have to respect
you have
a person's
to,
perspective.
Position.
Yes.
Correct. So you find out first, and once they're okay, you proceed. So by the time the THA contacts them, they are already aware. They would have already submitted their CV. That information is there, and it's just for them to come in and we take a photo and that kind of thing in preparation for the night. Now, it is not a public event, so it is by invitation only. Because we would love to invite all of Tobago, but we can't. But it is always streamed. So there will be a live stream of the event on the night, and that can be checked out on Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page, and I know the other media houses do share it as well, but it is by invitation only.
Right. And what are some of the categories people are awarded under?
So we have, apart from the actual awards, we've had persons in education, we've had persons in culture, we've had persons in community development. We have also had gallantry, as I said earlier. They may have performed a heroic act. I remember one year we did have a gentleman who saved a young lady in some school bathrooms, and that person was awarded. So it might be a heroic act that they performed. You can nominate them as well for that act of service. So it's really, you have non-governmental organizations. So we've had the JCIs and so on who have
youth clubs.
Youth clubs, very much. We've even had dance ensemble. Right. So it is really very, very, very wide. I try to say it's not my position to say, well, that person is not worthy enough or that group is not worthy enough. The awards committee really decides that. What you have to do is justify the nomination.
Right.
And once you are able to do that in a very strong way, then it will be considered.
And I think that's so important for viewers to understand, the process and how to go about it, because, in small societies like this, we love to old talk. So on the evening of the awards, people will be like, who handpick and who this? But we are the ones nominating the individual. So if you have that former teacher or just someone you have worked with or in your community who you think is quite deserving, it's on you to do the groundwork and get that person to be in that group of nominees, all right? So don't just sit by. Sometimes we just talk, but while that person is still here to be celebrated, give them a chance, put their name in, as we say, to give them some sort of consideration. And you never know how it may turn out. And if in fact they are awarded, just remember you were part of that and you helped celebrate that person. So it's something quite special.
It is very special for Tobago, because for the national awards, we do get Tobagonians being listed, but it's Trinidad and Tobago,
Yes.
so there are only so many Tobagonians that
Correct.
will make the pool. So this is an opportunity for more Tobagonians to be recognized, for more Tobagonians to be awarded. So it's a really, really good activity. I just want to say, for the folks who might not be that tech savvy, I just encourage them to reach out to someone, maybe a child, a grandchild, to
yes.
assist with the online process, because for some it might be a little bit intimidating and even frustrating.
Right.
But reach out to someone and ask them to assist in the process if you are not able to handle the online.
And of course, remember that deadline. Don't be calling the office of the chief sec, the 1st of October, saying you didn't get to do this, you didn't get to do that, because of course they have their timeline they are working with. So just remind us again that deadline, Avian.
So the deadline is September 30th. And again, it is online. So we don't want persons coming up to the office of the chief secretary at Calder Hall
to pick up,
forms.
Right,
No physical forms are going to be accepted. So strictly online, and September 30th is the deadline.
Right. And I want us to switch gears, because coming out of the chief secretary's office again, we see another competition, art and film. And we know we talk a lot about the creative industry.
Yes.
And so tell us about this competition and who it is targeting.
Fantastic. So this competition has been running since 2012, and it was called the Chief Secretary's Tobago Secondary Schools Art Competition. And it's always been run by the Department of Information. At the time, my predecessor, Joanna Barrows, started it, and we have continued it because it was such an excellent initiative. And so successive chief secretaries have also continued it.
Right. And is this the one that produces the calendars?
Correct.
Yeah, I always have to make sure I set myself up for one of those.
Yes. So it's run, as I said, since 2012.
Right.
This year, for the first time,
Yes.
we have introduced a film component, because, the young people are so interested in storytelling,
Yes.
visual storytelling. They're content creators. And so the idea came about by actually a member of staff, and I commend him, Alan Douglas, said, why not do art and film? We've always been having art. And we ran with it. So we have the art and film competition. It's only Tobago secondary schools. However, what I want to say is we do have art programs in schools, and we have theater arts programs in schools. But the competition is not exclusively for those students who are attached to their art or theater arts programs at their secondary schools. So you can be a non-art student or non-theater arts student. You can participate in the competition. All we ask is that you get the authorization from your principal. Because the form has to be signed. So we don't want to be out of order, right?
Yes.
So we just ask that you get the authorization from your principal, and you can make a submission. We have had non-art students win the competition, end up in the top 18. So we have 12 finalists who make the calendar. So those 12 finalists are featured on the chief secretary's calendar. And the winning art piece makes the cover of the calendar. But we have also been doing consolation prizes, because Natalie, the artwork sometimes is just so good that, you really feel it. So we've reached out to the corporate community asking for sponsorship, and I really must thank the corporate community, who've been with us for the last few years. We've had B Mobile, we've had FCB, we've had Unit Trust. Last year we had Royal Bank, and another company from out of Trinidad. The name is eluding me right now, but I really want to thank our corporate sponsors who have bought into this project and willingly sponsor us every year. So from places 13 to 18, we give a consolation prize valued at $1,000.
Right.
The top 12, the winner gets $4,000, and the winning school gets $10,000 to contribute to the art program.
Okay.
And then from 2nd to 11, they get $2,000 each. And we also try to encourage those who didn't place, and we give them a $200 voucher for art supplies.
Yes.
This year, the winning school of the film competition will also get $10,000.
Okay,
and then it's like $6,000 for the winning school, $4,003. So everybody is going to walk away with something almost. We're really excited to see the submissions. For the judging, we really try to make the judging very transparent. So we go to the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago, and we bring up judges for the arts competition. We allow them to select. Right. So we don't select the judges. There are Tobagonians in the Art Society who might be selected. But we do not, as a department or as a division, do not select the judges.
So you're being quite transparent in your process and having little to do with the process as possible.
We don't. We just give them the criteria. I do not even go around them when they are judging. Right. So we leave them to do their judging. They have been so impressed over the years with the talent coming out of Tobago.
It is amazing.
And so let me just say the deadline for this as well is September 30th. And pieces are to be dropped off at the Show Park complex. So again, I encourage the schools, the teachers, the students to ensure that you meet that September 30th deadline.
And is there a difference in terms of who can enter the art side to the competition and the film? Because I know I get the impression for the art side of it, the paintings, the drawings, etc., as many number of students from the school may be allowed to enter. But when we look at the film side of the competition, is it that a school can submit, 20 films?
So thanks for asking. So yes, so for the art side, you can have multiple entries, 1 entry per student. For the film side, 2 entries per school. 2 entries per school. So if the school has multiple entries, we ask them to do that process of elimination and submit, because it's a longer process to do the judging. So 2 entries per school, and that is what we are going to be judged.
So the schools can have their local competition to see who will be selected to represent.
Yes. And the films are to be no longer than 5 minutes. No longer. So it can be 30 seconds or a minute, but just not longer.
That's your cap.
5 minutes. I just remember the name. Memory Bank. That was the other corporate sponsor out of Trinidad who came on board last year.
And of course, I know information would have been shared with the public, with schools, but for those who might be somehow hearing this for the first time, maybe a parent who knows their child is quite talented and would like to see them enter the either side of it to be a part of the process, where else can they get information?
Well, they can contact the Department of Information directly. Our direct line is 639-3720. That's 639-3720. I'll give my mobile phone, 733-0878. So you can also contact me if you're not getting through. So 733-0878 or 639-3720 for the information department.
And of course, please call Ms. Parks to find out about the art competition, Let's keep calls quite short and professional. Is there a long-term program, or maybe maybe you all may be thinking about it, because as you say, like, I have seen the art pieces and I'm always blown away, and that's why I always position myself to make sure I get a calendar somehow, because I mean the pieces are worthy of being framed, even the copy, even the copies.
A lot of people frame them.
Yeah, and it's worthy, and you know, for me, it's so awesome thinking that this young person has this opportunity to see their work. Because these calendars go far and wide. It doesn't just stay here.
It's a sought after commodity, you know, Natalie. It goes like hot bread.
Of course. And you know, for these young artists who can see their work years down the road and say, you know, this might have been my first piece that won a competition. And you know, they're looking back while they are established, you know, artists, they can, you know, see their pieces and see that transition and that movement. So I just think, you know, it's just so awesome to know that they have this opportunity. And I don't know if I'll be causing trouble, but I also see it as something that can be monetized.
Yes.
You know.
I mean, we are just, I would say, one rung on the ladder.
Yes.
It gives them the opportunity to show, well, to see that art is a viable form of employment.
Definitely.
Years ago, you really couldn't tell your parents you want to be an artist.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, how are you going to eat?
Yes.
How are you going to drink? How are you going to take care of a family?
Yes.
What these young persons are seeing now is that you have persons who have made careers out of art.
Correct.
And so it has really opened the pool of careers for them, opened their opportunities. And for me, it is that it positions art as that career opportunity. I remember, I think it was last year, I told them about a neighbor who came from Trinidad, started off renting, and then we saw him blossom and grow, have his own property, in fact, more than one property, from art.
Right.
Not a THA job.
Right.
Not going into the private sector, from art. An entrepreneur who you saw come and grow and develop, and is still living from art.
Right.
So now when you go to the schools and you ask them what would you like to be, you hear a range of careers.
Yes.
So I hear artist.
Yes.
I hear nail tech.
Yes.
I hear hairdresser.
Yeah.
It is such a different time. So this competition really acts as an impetus.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like it so much. Yes, you get to see their abilities and their talents, but it also opens their minds in terms of futuristic thinking, in terms of where they see themselves in a few years, what career path they would like to follow. This is but one.
And it's definitely one of the strengths of an initiative like this, you know, because as you say, when we were at school, you dare not talk about the creatives. And what I do appreciate about this, because, you know, again, we love to stereotype. So if you're not academic, then you think about things like this, but you have brilliant students, you know, whether it's in the field of academia, and this is just a talent they have. And some of them, it's whether it's a natural talent or whether it's a learned skill, you know, and they love it. So why not, you know, explore it and blossom in this experience? So it's art and film this year. The theme, what's the theme?
Tobagonian.
All right. I love it. I love the play. I love the play on that. Yes. So I am anxiously waiting, whether you are in the top 10, whether you're in 1 to 20, whether you're just getting recognition for being so brave and bold and sharing your talent with us. It is one of the events on the island, the competitions I personally look forward to. It's usually streamed as well, the award ceremony, and I know you have the art pieces on display. So it's like an art show, and I usually would, you know, stop by and check out the pieces because I'm always awed by the talent of our young people around us. So if you didn't know, you know now. So you have until September 30th, all right, to line up yourself. Remember, if those of you for the film, I know, you know, we have a lot of young content creators.
Oh, yes.
Talk to your teacher, talk to your principal. It's only 2 entries per school for that side of the competition, and I know you want to be a part of it. So thank you so much, Avian, for sharing with us.
You're welcome, Natalie, and thank you for having me. And good morning again, Tobago. Have a great day.
All right, viewers. So we've had quite an interesting lineup this morning, a lot of information. And remember, you can always keep abreast of what's happening on the island through Tobago Updates Television. And as I always remind us, it is Friday. The weekend has begun. Remember, we are our brother's keeper. So I want you to not just plan for yourself, but be aware of those who are around you. All right, so until we meet again, do have a fabulous and a safe weekend. Oh, I just got an update from my producer that we have one more guest who stopped by this morning. So we're not done yet. Let's hold on that. And when we return, we have a quick but important conversation with that guest.
Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. I'm sending a big, 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 big dirty bun for you. Better than them. And I have a big, 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 big dirty bun for you. So you better don't run. Come on, fun, me say don't run. Good morning, Bacchanal. How do you do? It's very critical. Talk to you, but it's a long, 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 long road. I'm going on, and I need some vibes in my life. I stay strong. Bless me with Juve. Carnival is my time. We are things to celebrate. So let me see.
The Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development invites all to Lubidor Open Day 2025. That's right, the Lubidor Nurseries will be hosting its Open Day on Friday, 12th September from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On sale will be tree crops, seedlings and ornamental plants, free health checks, games and giveaways. Bring your small machines for free diagnostics. You don't want to miss it.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy.
Thank you, viewers. I was quickly hurrying us away into our weekend, but we do have one more guest this morning, Nkosi Philip, political leader, the Unity of the People. And Nkosi is here to talk to us about a special business summit. So welcome, Nkosi.
Hi, pleasant good morning to you and pleasant good morning to the viewers. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and of course, it's always a pleasure to have you share information with us. So this morning, we're talking about the Africa Open for Business Summit. Now, this is a summit that is not new. It's usually held, all right? This is the 2025 edition. And it's being convened by the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, right? In partnership, of course, with another organization. But I want you to tell us a little bit about the African Renaissance and Diaspora Network, and then we get more into this business summit.
Well, it's an internationally operating NGO headquartered in the United Nations in New York. And what they do is to accelerate the attainment of African Renaissance by advocating for supporting United Nations programs with government educations, artists, intellectual property, cultural exchange, marketing of food products, agricultural products and stuff, and they bridge the gap of the African diaspora with communities and international and both local and regional CARICOM nations. And my invitation there is to under the African diaspora, because I'm now with the African Union,
Right.
is to also to bridge the gap from our NGO as the ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, utilize and whatever cultural aspects we have in Tobago, not only with the food, but the cultural part of Trinidad and Tobago as well.
Right. Now tell us when this business forum will take place and where
Right.
and
It
when.
will be Friday, the 26th of September, 2025, at the United Nations, the same time when the General Assembly will be.
Right.
So I'll be taking a contingent also. Some of them will be there already. They'll be dealing sometimes. Some of them will be marketing because we'll be marketing some of the things from Tobago. We have a person in Trinidad who does African wear. We have persons who do African jewelry. We're looking at Ben and Balls and the different stuff. And while they're there, I'll be switching and interchanging into the General Assembly.
Right.
Where I think your Prime Minister will be leading a delegation to the General Assembly
Yes,
of
she
the United
will be,
Nations.
right.
And I'll be in and out of the both African diaspora and the General Assembly at the same time.
Yes, and I have to be a little facetious. I heard you say you're Prime Minister, but it's the Prime Minister of Trinidad and
Yes,
Tobago, so
yes,
it's our Prime
yes.
Minister, right? Yes, and she did share with the public that she will
Yes.
be leading that delegation. When have you attended this business summit before?
Yes, last year, but it was the brief, that's where we were meeting and doing policies in terms of the African nations, and where we had shared ideas of what Trinidad and Tobago culture has in terms of education policy, youth policy, sustainable development policies at that time. But this is my first time attending the African Summit and African Network Marketing itself.
Okay.
And I think I have more information as to what I'm supposed to do and what I'm supposed to bring to make sure that we bridge the gap from that African diaspora to Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago.
Right.
And I'm looking at my community, especially because through the Assemblyman, Mr. Craig, there was this tourism project that they did in Tobago with communities, and I would have issued a project in. So I'm using that same project, which is the Equitable Economic Growth and Community Empowerment in the community of Buku and environs, to work there to market that same
Right.
project to bridge that gap in the cultural aspect. Because Buku and the area of that western side is more cultural. We have the folk theatre, which will now re-enacted through the heritage and things. So I'm trying to bridge that cultural gap, the agricultural gap, whatever gap we can build with the African diaspora. I'm trying to do that as much as possible.
Right. And though you would have hinted, I still want to ask, because I want you to hone in on that. Why is attending the Africa Open for Business Summit important to you? Why is this something you would follow up on?
Because we need to bridge that gap. Right now we are racially divided, and I am not about the racial divide. We're looking at new avenues for market, especially in Tobago space, because a lot of things that are happening, when it is bad, it is Trinidad and Tobago, but when it is good, it is just Trinidad alone. I'm looking to bridge the gap whereby Tobago literally needs a tourism boost, a proper tourism boost, a proper marketing boost, a proper hype, especially with the African diaspora. We are seeing persons traveling and going and say they market in Tobago and nothing comes back. And with me, I think that should be different, and I'm trying to put things in place that things should happen and could happen. And even though starting off in my community, at least it's a push for Tobago and bringing people here. I did it in 2019 when I did Conscious in the Caribbean. We had over 2 flights filled with persons here, and we did a long 2 weeks of events. So I'm looking to bridge that gap here, that Tobago actually could be on the map, because a lot of persons still in America and other places only hear Trinidad. And when they hear Trinidad and Tobago, they think it's Jamaica or some African country, Caribbean country, Jamaica. So I'm looking to see what I can do and, still fly the flag of Trinidad and Tobago, although I'm representing under the African diaspora.
Right. And at this summit, are you the person representing Trinidad and Tobago, or even Tobago? Are there other persons from Trinidad and Tobago who would often be at this summit?
Well, I am not sure. I speak for Trinidad and Tobago Youthful Rights, the NGO, and I speak as the political leader. Now I'm a minority voice at the United Nations, recognizable of my political party, Unity of the People.
Okay.
So in that capacity, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm still a Trinidad and Tobago citizen, so
Right.
I will, if I'm asked questions about Trinidad and Tobago, it doesn't take anything for me to
You'll
still
always
represent.
be flying the flag.
As Prime Minister mentioned, carrying a delegation, I do not know if they will be representing Trinidad and Tobago in that capacity. But if the space is vacant and I'm called upon to say anything to represent, I will do it in the best capacity and the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago as much as possible.
All right. And of course, we thank you for stopping by. It's always interesting to know about your travels and how you continue to represent Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, your youth NGO, and representing the people the best you see how. So we wish you safe travel. And of course, I'm sure we would invite you to get a report to find out how things went And it's always important, when people share these types of information, we do follow-ups to understand how things turned out. So thank you so much for stopping by this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so viewers, this is it. We have no more guests, so this is my goodbye or see you later until the next time. And remember to be safe. We want you around. I want to be around. We want our families to be around. So let's be safe and look out for each other.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion starter.